Hello guys, this is Connie and welcome back to my channel. This week, while we were sharing a cabin with our son and his family, I made a very interesting discovery about myself, one that also applies to my husband when it comes to simple living. And I want to share that with you today. But first, let me give you a little background. To get to the cabin, we had to leave our home in North Carolina and travel to a small town in West Virginia called Baker. Baker is a very beautiful little town. It is very rural, lots and lots of farms, very pretty, lots of mountains, lovely valley, state park, and we had the pleasure of, on Sunday, going to worship with a church that was there that welcomed us as if we were a part of the family. It was really nice. Now, let me say that this is not our first time going out to the country. We stayed at a cabin also with Joey, Iris, and Billy in West Virginia sometime last year. And Bill and I have also rented a cabin a couple of times over in Gatlinburg. But this was the first time that we ever went to a place that was that deep into the country. To give this a little bit more context, Bill is born and raised in New York, specifically the Bronx, and I was born in Cuba, but was raised in New Jersey. Both of us from pretty urban settings until moving out to North Carolina, which is partly suburbs and partly country also. But over the course of the last couple of years, as I've gotten more and more into a slower living, I've often told friends, I like where we live, but sometimes I really wish it was out in the country, deeper into the country. This week gave me the opportunity to actually experience that firsthand. Nice walk. Let's face it, the country has a beauty and an allure all of its own. But there's also a misconception that slow living and simple living can only really occur off the grid, far away from everything. That is just not true, and it's also not for everyone. I believe it's possible to cultivate the lifestyle of your dreams anywhere. I like to watch other simple living channels, and one of the people that I like to watch is Carolyn's Simple Life. I love her. And she touched upon this in one of her videos because I did a little search. I said, I can't be the only one that feels this way. You have to remember, too, that the places that I've been to that have been in the country, they're still out in the country, but they haven't really been that far from where I guess you would say a hub of activity is. You know, I'm not used to having one supermarket or just a supermarket and a Walmart, for example, that both are a good distance away. No, I'm used to having maybe 3, 4, 5 different supermarkets to choose from in case I want to get certain things. And it's also a lot less expensive because some of them have sales and the other ones don't. I guess I like that at my disposal. I'm not that far. I'm up from my dentist and I'm about across town from my doctor. And that works for me. It's not, oh no, I've got to go that far to go to here, to there. So, and my son, Brandon, and his family, the younger son, they live here. So we live very close to each other, so there's always that wonderful possibility that they will drop by. Being away that far away out in the country is beautiful. And yes, it is a slower life too, but it's not restricted to one area or one type of area. It's like I watched also Madison Gray was talking about how simple living is not an aesthetic. It's not either. It's not that you have to redo your whole house as cottage core. I'm not redoing my house at all. As a matter of fact, I'm keeping my house as simple as possible, and as much as it is not to have to spend money that is unnecessary when we have, things that are nice and they're in good condition. But for some reason, that had been in the back of my mind about, well, we'll have to move to the country, you know. And this has been a really good and eye-opening experience for us because Bill also has come to that conclusion too after this week. There's a scripture that talks about aspiring to live a quiet life. That is my aspiration. That is my dream, to have a nice, quiet life and to just be grateful and to not complicate matters. That is really something that doesn't have to be achieved in any one place, and there's not a formula to follow either. But we, for some reason, sometimes we think that I don't know if it's something in us that we think, well, I have to follow this little formula. But we don't, we really don't. And I that's the problem in that, is that people may look at that and they may want to have a simple life, but then they say, well, I would really miss the city. There are just people that are used to stimulation. They like to be in the midst of everything. My aunt was like that, God bless her. But that's the life that they choose. It's not for me, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong, for them. So I really was grateful to have been able to taste that. Would I live in the country? Yes, I would. But I think it would have to be a place where it wasn't quite that out of the way, where I would still be able to be in all of that activity whenever it called for it. My husband and I love to visit, besides going out to places that are more quiet. We like to visit, for example, Greenville, South Carolina, which we call our town now. And Greenville, there's a lot of places to walk, and it's beautiful, and I love all the little shops. And there's a little coffee shop there, and there's Falls Park, which is it has falls, and it has like a little river, and it's a beautiful place to walk. All of those things, they are just things that call to us. And that doesn't detract from our desire to have a life that is not complicated, that is not stressful, that is not always involved with consumerism and always buying, where we just can be humans, where we can be who we are and what we are. So that's my video, and I hope that has helped you. It was very eye-opening for me to have been spent this week over in that cabin, and of course anytime with the family is always good. If you have any thoughts about that, I'd love to hear about them. And I hope this video has helped you, has been interesting to you too. If it has, I hope that you like and you share. And I thank you for spending time with me. So until I talk to you again, God bless.